I saw one question come through a couple minutes ago from Zero Slee. You're saying, hello, Jacob. I want to go to Korea this summer with only one backpack, 50 liters. Do you think you can make it? It's your first time trying to pack so lightly. Normally you would bring one big luggage, a small luggage, and a backpack with you. You want to be as flexible as possible. You didn't buy the backpack yet. You would stay for 3 weeks to 1 month. I definitely think it is very possible to travel in one backpack for that length of time. After all, I did so in Japan for 86 days. I was traveling in Japan with a 28-liter backpack for 86 days. Now, I will acknowledge about partway through my trip, in the first month and a half or so, I did end up buying a rolling suitcase as well due to the souvenirs I ended up purchasing, because I bought every souvenir I didn't buy the first time I went to Japan on my second latest trip to Japan. So I did end up buying a rolling suitcase at some point on the trip. But yes, I absolutely do think it is very possible to travel, especially during the summer, with just one backpack. During the winter, it definitely can get a little bit more difficult depending on where you're going. Of course, if you're going to Siberia, you're going to want a super insane, super thick, super good jacket that maybe doesn't fit so well in a bag. But of course, my rule of thumb when it comes to one bagging is wear all of the not packable stuff onto the plane. So if you have a really thick jacket that doesn't really fit in your backpack very well, wear it onto the plane, and the moment you get into the plane, take it off and put it in the above area above you, or put it under your seat, or just wherever it may fit. That might be something that is worthwhile to consider in the future. I do the same thing with thick pairs of pants. I really like wearing thick pairs, excuse me, I'm getting words jumbled up. I really enjoy wearing thick pairs of pants just on the regular basis kind of thing. I love my jeans, but jeans certainly do not pack nearly as well as some other pants, like let's say linen pants or something like that kind of thing. And so when I am traveling with jeans, I always try to make sure I wear them on the plane, just so I don't have to put them in my backpack and take up extra space that I could use for something else. Especially when I'm flying home, that's something I find to be especially useful, as I have quite a few cigarettes in my backpack when I be going home. I be taking the maximum limit of cigarettes allowed in into the United States from foreign countries back home, or the maximum amount duty-free, to be precise, the maximum amount without having to pay any taxes of cigarettes back into the United States. Now, I've never been to Korea before, so I'm not exactly sure what the weather during the summer there is actually like. However, I do absolutely think that you can one bag with a 50-liter backpack in South Korea, no question in my mind. And I personally believe that if you wanted to slim that down even more, you absolutely could as well. Now, I don't know what kind of situation you're going to be in with hotels or Airbnbs, or whether you're going to have a washer or dryer or not. But if you know that you're going to have a washer and dryer at wherever you're staying, then I would say maybe go for a total of 2 articles of clothing that go really well together. And when I say 2 articles of clothing, I don't mean total. I mean 2 pairs of pants, 2 shirts, of course more socks than that, so probably 4 pairs of socks, 1 to 2 pairs of shoes kind of thing, 4 pairs of underwear, and just stuff like that kind of thing, 1 jacket. So just limit everything, but have everything kind of work together is something that I tend to try to do when I'm one bagging, and that's something I've seen other people do online. My personal outfit when I'm traveling is I just do a black t-shirt with jeans and then I just have another black t-shirt. And so it looks like I'm wearing the exact same thing for 86 days straight, but actually I'm wearing multiple black t-shirts, but it looks like it's the same black t-shirt the whole time. So that's just kind of what I do personally, and that's what works for me. But if you want a little bit more diversity in your outfits, in your clothing, that's definitely something that you can do with 50 liters without a doubt, I will acknowledge. 50 liters is, personally for me, a little bit big, just simply because weight, I will acknowledge. When I was in Japan, I was walking around quite a bit with my 28-liter backpack that I had, and now granted it was a 28-liter, so there weren't straps that could go around my waist to really take the weight off of my back or anything like that kind of thing, because it was only a 28-liter. But with a 50-liter bag, if you're stacked full, if that's chock full of everything kind of thing, I would definitely have to say that make sure you get one with a waist strap for one, and I would definitely have to say for 2, definitely just think about how much weight is going to be in the backpack, because if you're walking through the airport for 30 minutes trying to find your terminal, if you're doing if you like, let's say, get into a city like 10 hours before your hotel check-in is or something like that kind of thing. You're going to be walking around the city for 10 hours with your backpack on your back. So weight is really something to keep in mind. And 50 liters, at that point, in my opinion, the size is no longer the issue. It's the weight that's the issue. So I would definitely say keep the weight in mind, not of the backpack, but of what's in the backpack, and just make sure that's something that's manageable for you. Yeah, back pain while you're traveling is definitely not the moves, I will acknowledge. So it's just something to consider. But to basically summarize my thoughts, I absolutely do think that going to South Korea during the summer with a 50-liter backpack is absolutely possible. And if you absolutely wanted to, I definitely do think you could go smaller if that's something you're interested in doing. But of course, as you said, this is your first time trying to do one bagging, and there's no need to really throw yourself out of the comfort zone to an extreme degree by any means. If you enjoy this experience and want to slim down more, absolutely do so in the future. But go with what you're comfortable with. It's never good to be uncomfortable while you're traveling, and you want to make sure you have what makes you comfortable, that is for sure. C. Rosley, you're saying the weather in South Korea is similar to Japan. That is what I've heard, but I can't say anything for sure as I haven't been there myself. So yeah, I just don't want to say anything in regards to that because I'm not exactly sure what the weather is truly like, but that is what I've heard. You're also asking, but do you think you could go down to a 40 liter? You're saying you hate how big the 50 liter is, but most people recommend 50 liters. I think you definitely could. I think you could definitely go down to a 40 liter if that's something you want to do. One thing to keep in mind is that you could always do a 40 liter backpack, and then if you end up with more like stuff, with more souvenirs while you're there, you can always get a roller or an extra backpack while you're there or something like that kind of thing as well. So that is something to keep in mind. But I definitely think you can go down to a 40 liter if you want to. I'm not sure what areas you're looking at for research and everything like that, but one area I do recommend taking a look at, one online sort of forum I do recommend you take a look at in regards to one bagging and traveling with just one bag, is the one bag subreddit. It's r/1bag, and don't get me wrong, there's definitely a lot of stuff on the one bag subreddit that is kind of just a feedback loop, I will acknowledge. It's especially like that in regards to gear reviews and gear recommendations. I just hear the same gear over and over and over again when I know there's other options out there. So do take like gear recommendations with a grain of salt and everything like that kind of thing on there, of course. But one of the reasons why I enjoy browsing the one bag subreddit every once in a while is to see other people's packing and to see what they did to optimize their packing. Not just like how they folded their clothing or what they're taking with them. Because of course, if you're taking like, let's say a camera, that's going to automatically take up some room in your bag. And if you want to keep the same size bag that you already have, you might have to take less clothing. But if you're only taking clothing, no electronics, all of a sudden you have so much extra room in the bag, you can downsize just a little bit kind of thing. Everybody's packing is personal for what they specifically want to do. Mine included, of course, but the one bag subreddit, r/1bag, definitely is a great resource just to take a look to see what other people's packing is like. And that's definitely a resource I would recommend you take a look at. Maybe not for gear recommendations, but for just seeing what other people's sort of packing ideals are and to see what other people are packing and just to see what's going on in other people's bags, I do suppose is really a good way of putting it. So that is definitely something I would recommend doing. That is for sure. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Seriously, you're saying thank you. It's indeed insane how much you can fit into one backpack. It really is. It really is pretty crazy how much you can fit into one backpack, especially with different like clothing and different items kind of thing and everything like that. Like I recently went to the thrift shop and I was just looking and I was like, wait a minute, there's this really nice like packable shirt that I've seen online just sitting on the shelf here for $7 at the thrift shop. And I picked it up and I folded it up once I got home and I was like, it fits in the palm of my hand. Like this shirt is so comfy. I love the shirt that I'm wearing right now, but it is 100% cotton. It's heavyweight and it is, when I put it in my bag, huge. It takes up so much space. But that little lightweight like button-up shirt that I got at the thrift shop for $7 a couple days ago, not only was it a great purchase because it's like an $80 shirt that I just found for $7. I love it. But it also literally just like fits in the palm of my hand. And I'm like, I gotta take this when I'm traveling because it is so small. It's like I might as well take it. But yes, it really is crazy how much you can fit into one backpack, especially with different materials and everything like that kind of thing. I'm not one to say that you should have to buy a new wardrobe for traveling or a new wardrobe for when you're trying to pack everything into one bag. That's not something I want to encourage anybody to do. I believe that traveling in the clothes you normally wear at home really is the best move, especially if you're a first-time one-bagger and you do not tend to one-bag very much. Just sticking with what you have and trying to put it all in one bag really is the best move, and then after you have some experience with that, then you can figure out what different items you want if you end up wanting different items and stuff like that to optimize and whatnot. But it really is crazy just how much you can fit in one bag kind of thing. And after having lived out of my backpack genuinely for like nearly 90 days, I really came to the realization that I was like, man, I really don't need that much stuff. Like, I like having variety in my wardrobe at home and stuff like that. I'm somebody who I enjoy wearing a uniform, and I don't mean a uniform like a uniform decided by somebody else, like a military uniform or a school uniform or something like that kind of thing. If my school, when I was in high school, had a school uniform, I would have hated it kind of thing. But I'm somebody that likes a personal uniform, is really the right way of putting it. I tend to wear the same style jeans all the time, the same style shoes all the time, and the same style shirts all the time, and I tend to do that over and over and over again because that's just what I'm personally comfortable with, and that's just exactly what I like doing. But even with that, I do really enjoy some variation as well, and so I have a closet that is certainly not the smallest by any means, I will acknowledge. But traveling for 90 days out of a backpack really did teach me that, wow, I can really just live out of a backpack for an extended period of time, and I don't really need anything other than this. It's kind of crazy, honestly. It's kind of wild, and it's a very educational experience to do that. Thank you so much for bringing this topic up once again. Seriously, I really do appreciate it. Really enjoy talking about this sort of stuff, so I appreciate you bringing it up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for bringing it up.